The term wash refers to a technique where you paint a very thin layer of watercolor into a large area of water. This results in the paint moving around the pool of water, creating swirls and blooms and all sorts of random effects. Once again, this is a technique that allows watercolor to paint itself, since you're giving up control in a sense and letting the paint take over. Once the paint dries, you're left with areas of the painting that really have a life all their own. The resulting textures left by the mix of water and paint breathe life into the painting. I personally love this aspect of watercolor, and I use it all the time in both traditional and digital work. There are two ways that I like to create washes in Procreate, and oftentimes I use these two methods together so that I can have full flexibility and control over how the washes look. The first method is to paint them using soft wash brushes. Here I'm using the soft wash brushes from the coarse brush set. Painting washes like this allows a level of freedom in the shape and areas of light and dark because you're painting it from scratch. I'll often use the smudge tool with the same brush selected to spread the wash or fade it out along the edges. The other technique I use to create washes is using stamp brushes. Here I'm using the two stamp brushes from the coarse brush set. These brushes were created using high-res photos or scans of actual washes created with traditional paint on paper, so the result is as realistic as you can get. These brushes are fast and easy and often create randomness and happy accidents, which I find to be a lot of fun. Washes can be used to build and blend shapes, and they can also be used to create abstract backgrounds. Let's try painting a shape first, and feel free to paint along if you like. We'll start out by drawing a leaf with the pencil sketch brush. Next, we'll want to create an area of confinement for the paint. In a traditional watercolor, this will be equivalent to a wet area of the paper. Paint will stay within the bounds of the wet space and won't run or move onto dry paper. In Procreate, we'll create the same confined area with a selection. So let's go ahead and outline our leaf shape with the selection tool. This gives us the equivalent of a wet area of paper. Then we can stamp or paint a couple of washes in to give us our painted shape. This is so easy to do, and it can be the beginning step in so many paintings. I love the randomness of building shapes this way versus painting in solid areas of color. Watercolor paintings don't typically have a solid area of opaque color like oil paintings might. There's usually some degree of texture. So these wash stamps are also perfect for breaking up those areas of solid color with a bit of randomness. Okay, let's try another one. This time we're going to use the soft wash brushes. The action is already made, and I'm going to paint around the edge of the leaf without lifting my pencil tip until I'm ready to start a new layer of wash. I'm also painting around the edge, the outside of the leaf, to darken the edges. Let's grab the softer wash brush and scale it up a little. Let's paint in another layer of wash. I'm using very light pressure here as well. So darkening the edges like this will help create the look of real paint because it tends to move towards the edge as it begins to dry. Okay, there we have it. There's our second leaf, this time painted with wash brushes. When using washes as backgrounds, I think of it as blending out areas that add to or enhance the composition. With that concept in mind, you don't want to stamp just any wash anywhere. I'll show you what I mean in this example. Let's finish out the background of this fox. I've included this painting in the course resources in case you want to follow along, but don't feel obligated to place washes in the same areas that I do. Feel free to experiment and see what you can create. Okay, we're going to be using the wash stamp brushes from the coarse brush set. I'm going to start with wash stamp 2. And our file is layered, and we want to place a new layer below all the others. That's where we're going to put our initial washes. I'm going to sample a color from the back of the fox's head, and I think I'm going to place my first wash in this area. Size the brush down a little bit. Okay, that looks pretty good. Drop another one here. Okay, I already like this. I'm going to sample a darker orange Place one lower. Okay, I like that pretty well. I'm gonna get wash stamp 1. I'm gonna drop another one in the middle. That works out pretty good. I like that the natural flow that this has. It's adding to the fox's shape, and it feels like a natural extension of the painting. If I were to throw another one up here, see how it kind of throws it off balance a little bit? It doesn't feel as natural. I'm gonna go with a cool blue now, or a cool gray. I'm gonna get wash stamp 2 again, and I'm gonna start a background for the fox's face. Okay, again, I'm looking for a natural extension of the painting. As I'm placing these washes, my eye is in search of a balanced composition. Okay, that's a bit too low. I'm gonna get the blur tool. I'm gonna blur out some of these repeating elements. The blur tool is already set to the water blender. I have just some of these repeating splatters that I just kind of want to get rid of. The wash stamp turns each time you place it, but occasionally you still get some of these repeating elements. It's quick and easy to just erase or blend them in. Okay, now let's create a new layer above all the others this time. This is going to be for some highlights. I want to break up some of these areas of color that I'm seeing. Size the brush down, smaller this time. I'm going to break up this area right here. Let's make it a little larger. Okay, I've got another area here that I want to break up. That's pretty good. I also have this harsh line that I'm seeing in the face, and I want to break that area up as well. It's pretty good, but maybe it's a little much. Let's try another one. That's a little more subtle. I like that better.